Hello and welcome to Netflix vs. Cinema, the podcast that asks the question, should you go to the cinema and watch things or stay at home and watch things?
Let's get ready to rumble!
My name is Tosin, I am the host, and based in a place called Bromsgrove in the middle of the country near Birmingham. Joining us as always, or joining me as always, on the Isle of Wight is Sean Harris.
Hello.
Resident 70s movie expert and horror movie hater, well, modern horror movie hater, shall we say. You go to modern horror movies to try and find something that doesn't annoy you. Also join us on the Isle of Wight is Sharon Bollen.
Hello.
Yes, our book to film, sort of like an expert and romantic movie expert and all that kind of stuff. I would say that that's you. Oh, and also folk. If it has folk in it, Sharon's all over it. And joining us from London, our London correspondent, Holly Nesling.
Hello.
Who will find a reason to give a terrible shark movie more stars than it deserves.
Yes, I will.
Like Sharon loves.
Needs a hobby. Just saying.
Sharon loves terrible shark movies, but she at least acknowledges how many stars they actually deserve.
I would have given Monsternado 0 stars if that were an option. Forget that.
Yeah, I do remember that, but we decided that we were not even going near Monsternado. Yeah, so we're going to kick off by talking about what it is we have seen in the cinema this week. What are we bringing to the table? And in time, under Nigerian fashion, we're going to go with that elder. Sean, what have you seen in the cinema?
Okay, so what I've seen, I did go and see, remember I said I'd go and see Downton Abbey,
yes, you did.
Restitution or whatever it is, or Resolution. Anyway.
The final finale. I'm not
sure. I saw One Battle After Another.
Yep.
And I've seen a film called Urchin, which was a sort of preview screening yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
with the terrific Sharon.
Yep. Okay, cool. And that tells us a little bit of what you've seen in the cinema, Sharon.
Yes, I have seen the secret screening preview of Urchin.
Urchin, all right, cool. Directed by Harris Dickinson, up-and-coming British actor, now trying his hand at directing. And let's see, Holly, how about you? Cinema, what we got?
I have seen One Battle After Another and The Long Walk.
One Battle After Another and The Long Walk. The Long Walk making its third appearance in 3 weeks on the podcast. Right, okay, cool. But all right, and how about and I have seen Dead of Winter. I've seen Dead of Winter, Emma Thompson, like I've never seen her before. It's Dead of Winter. And how about at home? What have we seen at home? Let's go reverse order. Holly.
I have seen Wednesday.
Okay.
I have seen Alien Earth.
Yep.
I have seen The Girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
I have seen I can't remember what it was called. It begins
Wayward.
with W. Wayward, thank you. And I have probably seen other things that I have forgotten because I've done a lot of watching and haven't been around for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No, that sounds like this matches with your homework that you sent to us and said this is the things I've been watching, so you don't forget.
Exactly. Why should I not send you weird messages late at night saying I've seen this stuff?
It's better than me dealing with poo late at night. I'll tell you that much. All right, so Sharon, how about you? What have you seen at home?
I have finished Wednesday on Netflix at home.
Okay.
And everything else I am still part of the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them I'm struggling with, so it's just like, just final push.
Yeah.
So I am hoping to have finished another couple of things by next week.
Because as part of our rules on this show, if you're going to bring something to review, like let's say, because in cinemas you're going to be talking about films, and if you're going to be talking about a TV show at home, we think it's only fair that you bring the complete story, so the complete series to go up against the film. So there's loads of things that we started watching, never stopped. Like with me, Succession Season 1. I am one episode from the end of Succession Season 1, and that is also the episode in which I probably show up because I was on the set of Succession, and I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to even try and find myself. All right, cool. And Sean, how about you? What have you seen at home?
Well, I've sort of... I did see Aliens at the pictures yesterday, the whatever showing it was. Because that reminded me, but we've already reviewed that, and it's something I'd seen like 310 times before. So mainly I've been on YouTube, watching a lot of stuff. I am starting to watch Generation V, but I can't.
Oh, Gen V, yeah.
I don't know. I'm sort of in about 2 episodes and I'm struggling a little bit. So,
Yeah, I know what you mean with that, because I've started watching Gen V as well, and that they're doing one of those things with theirs where they think it's the 90s and they're releasing an episode a week, and so and there is an element of that where it feels as if you ended up somewhere at the end of the first season, and where are we gonna go? And it's almost as if they just kind of like reset everything and then went back to, so like the end of the first season didn't really mean that much, and you're like, wait, what? And I know what you mean. It's kind of like if they're trying to crank the story up again, and it's a bit, it gets up my nose anyway. All right, I have seen a show called Running Point on Netflix. So let us kick off with One Battle After Another, which I think is the big noise this week. It's the one that we're getting towards Christmas when Paul Thomas Anderson releases the film, because that's all of a sudden people are going to start saying things like, ooh, Oscar contender. And that only comes out in this country in the run up to Christmas. That's the only time you get, ooh, Oscar contender coming out. So let's see who's seen this. Sean and Holly, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So Sean, go ahead. Tell us about One Battle After Another.
Okay. So this is a story about, so there's this group called I think it's called the French 67. I can't remember exactly. So, but anyway, they're like a bit of a terrorist group.
French 75.
French 75. Thank you, French 75. Brilliant.
Cocktail.
Why is French 75? I can't really get the order, but so yeah, the French 75, and they commit terrorist acts and they blow up, and they're being chased by Colonel Lockjaw, who one of the terrorists. She's, well, Holly could probably. Anyway, they have a relationship as well. One of the terrorists, so just a black girl, and she has a relationship with, and she ends up going in the witness, sort of being a bit of a betrayer, a bit of a sneak. But she has a daughter, and the Leo DiCaprio sort of takes her under a wing and lets her grow up, and then it shoots 16 years, I think, into the future. And, the girl's grown up and been living with Leonardo. But, there's this,
Is he her birth father or an adopted father? So
he is her father. But there comes a point where Colonel Lockjaw, excellent name, has the opportunity...
Played by Sean Penn.
Has the opportunity to join a deranged white supremacist group.
Okay. Can I just stop? This all sounds very spoilery.
No, this one is fairly. This bit's fairly safe.
Okay.
So he goes off and he starts cleaning house about all of his interactions ever, because these are a very funny bunch of people.
Okay.
Who have So I think the quick synopsis is group of terrorists fighting against what seems to be anti-refugee practices.
All right.
All goes a little bit wrong. Everybody rushes off into hiding.
Yep.
Madness ensues.
And
years later, Colonel Lockjaw is back on track to try to find out, to clean up all of his potential messes from the past in order to join what they call they're like the Christmas Tree Society or something equally ridiculous. It's
but basically they're the KKK really, but they that's basically what it is. And sorry, Holly, just to come in here, I just want to say that at the beginning of the film, Lockjaw gets they're doing a presentation. There's a couple of this is great with symbolism, and he gets a medal called the Bedford Forrest Medal. Well, Bedford Forrest was an American Civil War general for the Confederacy, and he was the first Grand Master of the Ku Klux Klan. So, and that was really early on. So I thought, ooh, there's a little reference there.
So we get this. So we get it. Lockjaw hunting down a bunch of people who did things in the past who might have been you guys have used the word terrorist a couple of times. All right, cool.
Yes, who might be able to demonstrate that his claims of total racial purity are not correct.
Okay,
which is necessary in order to join the Christmas tree weirdo people who are like a mixture of the Ku Klux Klan and the Illuminati.
Okay. All right,
cool. This is his dream. So that's
what the film's about. Okay, because I know you guys are saying they're not spoilery, but I'm hearing way more than I want to know before I watch this film.
Yeah. Well, I think
so let's jump into what you guys thought about it.
Okay. Well, for me, this was a top film. I mean, I like this director anyway. I've liked a lot of his films, Boogie, all those. But anyway, so what I like about this, you know how I am with car chases.
Yes.
This is brilliant because there's a car chase and the cars get smashed really early. Like, they were going on forever, and I'm like, they're hitting cars and they're stopping. They're stopping toes. So
Yes.
this is like,
Yes.
oh, that is terrific. That is so good. They're being chased. The chase lasts all of like 30 seconds before the cars smack into another car and stop. There's none of this rolling about and carrying on and smashing into everything. And there's another thing where there's like a little bit of a, what do they call that when with all the people that jump across the roofs and stuff and everything like
Parkour.
that? Yeah.
Parkour. Yeah.
Parkour, yeah. So there's a little bit of parkour and someone falls off, doesn't make the jump and gets caught. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. Not everybody can do.
it's beautifully stylized, but also quite, practical. That's a particularly beautiful scene.
To me, everything in this was what could have happened. What could have? There wasn't really anything I could find. I couldn't really fault this on anything. And it towards the end of the movie, you think, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen, and you think, oh no, it's going to be the same old trope, same old thing. What happens? But it doesn't happen how I thought it was going to happen. So it's just like, man, this film is just like super class. Everything in it works. Sorry, Holly, I'll go over to you now.
Yeah. Very well put together film. It was very current, felt quite apposite as from the beginning. It's apparent that it's sort of battling against unjust regimes and racism and societal all sorts. So it has that. It's automatically of the moment. Very well put together. Excellent cast, really well acted. Very long, very long.
I didn't see that.
2 hours 50 minutes.
It didn't feel long, but it was very long.
2 hours 50, did you say?
2 hours 50. This is part of the reason why.
3 hours.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was that long, and my phone, the meat ran out on my phone, and it went. I was like, "Oh, you're kidding me, man!"
Well, it is
a heck of a long film,
which is part of the reason why I didn't see this film this week, because I looked at it and I was like, "That's like half my workday," so, because I had to go see a film during the day, and I was like, "That's half my workday. I can't do that."
I thought it was absolutely superb. We agreed at the end that we didn't feel we needed to see it again. Which is sort of unusual for me, but not always. But I thought it was excellent. It was very well done. All of the characters were quite irritating, which I liked in some ways as well. There was probably only one character I actually liked consistently, and it wasn't one of the main characters.
I'm trying to work out who that might be.
Not one of the
you can tell me later.
Yeah, not one of the main characters. So watch it. People should absolutely watch it.
A lot of people have made a lot about the cast. Obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Teyana Taylor. It looks like it's got a quick, and obviously you've got a very meticulous director in Paul Thomas Anderson. So it's who just. It's like every time it picks up a camera, people are already going, "Ooh, Oscar contender!" So yes, that's what a lot of people are saying. So how many stars would you give this? Do you think Oscar contender?
I wouldn't call it an Oscar contender because I don't think it would be Oscar contender. But I mean, it's incredibly well acted, and everything in this, there was nothing that was really silly. Stuff that happened could have happened, and those bits and that just made it for me. I was like, there was absolutely nothing in this, but I'm going to give this a really high 4.
High 4.
Yep. Snap.
Okay, so very, very high 4 for One Battle After Another.
And I would be surprised if it was up for an Oscar, but I've been wrong about such things before.
Oh, this is what I love.
I'm not sure what I'd go with it for if I were to put it forward for anything.
This is what I love, because I've been hearing a lot of people saying "Film of the Year" and all that kind of stuff, and I'm happy to hear that you and therefore we disagree. So, all right, cool. And now let us go over to Netflix and let us talk Wednesday. So Sharon, tell us about Wednesday season 2, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Wednesday season 2. Wednesday Addams is back at Nevermore Academy. There's after the chaos of the last year where there was all sorts of events.
Yep.
She has developed a sort of notoriety. Everyone knows who she is, so she can't just sort of go under the radar. And she has got her own fans, people who are like a bit in awe of her. She's got her own stalker, and she's acquired this sort of like mystique around her. So obviously not quite what she would want. And then the season sort of kicks off with a new principal played by Steve Buscemi in one of he's sort of gloriously camp with it.
Yes.
So,
Steve Buscemi, look how weird I am.
it's like, whoa, I
very-
think it's turned it up to 11 on that one. And so, because he is trying to sort of get money for Nevermore, he recruits Wednesday's family to help run a gala to help raise money. So instead of the family being away, the family have now moved onto the campus as well. So you see a lot more of Morticia, you see a lot more of Gomez, and Pugs that started at the school as well. And there are, like last season, you think all these events are happening, sort of weird things are happening, and that they're leading you down these sort of really false trails every now and then. But there is like a theme running through it. So it takes you a little while to work out what the theme is. But there is a thing that links the whole series. So you have the start of the first bit sort of leads you off in one direction, and then it's almost like I fooled you, and then it sort of leads you somewhere else and you go, I fooled you, and then you find the main theme emerging through the middle. So it sort of carries on through the story. So like the first season, it's a bit nuts. It's got the gothic is like turned up to 11, the same as Steve Buscemi's acting.
Tim Burton,
he's just obviously having a party with it.
Yeah.
You've got this thing where the normies who live around there, they're the people who are not supernatural or not part of the Nevermore. What was the word they used to describe themselves, Holly?
No,
Never folk.
No.
Yeah, but
if you're not one of the sort of the special people, you're a normie. Yeah. But the town that is closest to Nevermore, they recognise that the people who go to Nevermore and their families are a bit different. So they recognise it. So when they talk about things like a Hyde, which is as in Jekyll and Hyde, in zombies, and in sort of nutters, they're like going, oh yeah, we've got this zombie on the loose, or oh, we've got this Hyde on the loose. It's not weird to them because they live within that world. Yeah. So it's gloriously anarchic. It's sort of quite fun. Bit teenage angst thrown in just to, bore us. But the rest of it is sort of, it's you know what you're going to get, and I think it delivers. Like sometimes season 2 is like they try a little bit too hard, and you find that sort of that joy or that sort of what made it a little bit different is lacking. But I think they maintained the quality, and they delivered a sort of a joyful romp through this strange world that we normies only occasionally will get a glimpse into.
All right, cool. So you said earlier that they sort of like, there's red herrings, essentially, in so many words. Is it done well? Because sometimes when people think like they're doing a red herring, it's like, oh, red herring, and you're like, yeah, I knew you were doing that the whole time.
No, I did actually. I didn't see the first one come. I didn't work that one out at all.
All right, cool. So quickly, Sharon, what do you think? And then Holly, quickly, what did you think?
No, I enjoyed it. Well, I thought it was well done. The characters were sort of grotesque in the right sort of way, the right level of grotesque. The overdoing it was done at the right level of overacting, where they went for it, but they sort of managed to pull it back to win the rudder out. So it fitted within that world.
Yep.
They were real to that world. So I like that they'd done their work to create that world where they fit in their grotesqueness.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. Yeah, for me, it was a 4.
All right. Holly?
Snap. I thought very well put together. I was very disappointed that they've got Joanna Lumley in as Morticia's mother. As you know, I have issues with Joanna Lumley.
The grandmama, yeah.
Yeah, so long and tedious, and for another day.
Okay. Sean, we'll add that. Sean, we'll add that to the list of things you were talking about last week. At the end of the show last week, Sean asked us a very, very mean question, which was, give us an actor or an actress who you just can't stand. Like they're in something and you're like, I am not watching it because you're in it.
Yeah, Joanna Lumley. It makes me, I want to say, makes me irrationally angry.
English treasure.
It is completely rational, and I will explain the rationale off camera to you all at some point.
Okay, cool.
There are quite a few British actors in it, because I think obviously Tim Burton, obviously he's lived in London for a long time, hadn't he? I don't know if he still does, but at one time he was a resident here. So you see a lot of people that we would recognise as sort of British actors who are in it, and I thought, well, that's interesting. That like Billy Piper's in it, and there's a few others who think, oh, I wouldn't have put them like Joanne Lumley. I thought, oh, I wouldn't have put her in this sort of film, but I think that's obviously because his connections to the UK.
Yep, and I think that there's a certain sort of like gothic sensibility that works with that. All right, cool. So 4 stars for Wednesday season 2, which is more than I thought we would get, to be honest with you. And now we go back to that was a cracking first round. Everybody agreeing, like bang on everything. Like, okay, cool. Let's go to the second round. Now we go back to cinema, and in cinema I'm gonna talk Dead of Winter, and this is a film that stars Emma Thompson. Like as I said, like you've never, I've never seen her before. So first of all, each time I see Emma Thompson, I immediately think, okay, cool, we're going to get like, an old sort of like slightly upper class English woman. But in this one, she is doing very well, like playing very believably a woman from Minnesota. In America, and when you meet her, she's driving through like this sort of like remote rural sort of wilderness sort of area, trying to find the lake on a map. And so you can see her, she's getting a bit lost, and she stops at a cabin to ask somebody for directions. And then there's this guy who's looking a little bit like, he has headphones on, so he doesn't really hear her coming up, but looks a little bit shifty. He gives her directions, and she's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, no problem. She goes to the lake, which is like frozen over because it's the dead of winter, hence the title. And they explain like, the sheet of ice is about like 8 inches thick on the top of the lake, so you can drive a car on it, you can jump up and down on it, nothing's gonna happen, that kind of stuff. And as it goes on, she realizes that the person who she met, who was looking a bit shifty, was being a bit shifty because there was a girl in his cabin that has been kidnapped. And so there's a girl in the cabin who's been kidnapped. She is in the middle of nowhere. She has no no reception on her phone. And so she decides, I need to do something about this. And then what unfolds, it's not an action movie, because this immediately sounds like it's Taken, or it sounds like it's Emma Thompson doing her Jerry action thing. It's like an older person kicks butt. But sure, and this is the reason why I was really, really interested to see what you would think if you saw this film. Is because what follows is just this woman thinking, I need to do something. There's a young girl who is seemingly in trouble. I need to do something. And everything that she does from that point on, it comes from what the kind of things that she would have learned as a Minnesotan trying to survive a harsh winter. So the kind of like practical things, and everything she does in this film, I think, makes sense from that point on. The things she does, the plans she goes for, what she tries to do, everything like that. There is one bit where they go a little bit Hollywood magic. And it's kind of like, and it stands out so much that you're watching the film going, okay, yeah. Oh no, why did you do that? Why did you do, oh, come on, you were doing so well. But there's one bit where they do like a very sort of hoary old trope in Hollywood movies. But there were bits where something will happen in the film, and I'll be like, oh, Holly, come on, for goodness sake. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just do that instead? And almost as the second as I had that thought of why wouldn't you do that instead, they would go and do the exact thing that I said. I was like, okay, cool, okay, all right, okay, you thought about this. You actually, okay, that's quite good. I mean,
wow, 2 films where they've done good stuff.
I know, that's when you were talking about one battle after another. That's why I'm like, oh man, I know you said that Dead of Winter isn't on the Isle of Wight.
No, it's not. I'm really, I tried to look. I put it on the Isle of Wight. It says this won't be available here. So that's 2 big movies they haven't gone. I've a good mind to complain.
Well, which was the other one?
Was Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. Oh, yeah, Spinal Tap. Yeah, I'm not sure whether this is a big movie. It's got Emma Thompson in it, but I think it's. Let me put it this way: this film has 10 speaking parts. There's about 10 characters in this entire film, so a lot of it is just them in this vast sort of wilderness kind of thing. I think it was actually filmed in Finland, but yeah, but I think honestly, I was watching this thing, I was thinking, okay, cool, that plan, okay, that kind of makes sense. That plan, that kind of makes sense. And even the motivations they give, the motivations for the kidnapping, you're kind of going, ooh, that's not action movie bombast. The motivations for, like, you know, why she's actually helping, because they give a little bit of backstory, and I think that the way that they intertwine the backstory with the characters is actually very, very elegantly done as to why she's doing something, everything like that, why she wouldn't go anywhere. And you never get the sense that she's some superhero. You feel like she's just kind of like, you know, when they talk about, I think that there's a phrase, it's something like Minnesota nice or something like that, where people are just kind of like, oh yeah, hello, how you doing, and everything like that. That kind of that it's just that kind of oh no, somebody's in trouble, we've got to do something about it. And it's a very well made thriller, It's sort of like a apart from that one bit that I think is something that happens a lot in these sort of films, that you kind of go, oh man, what? Everything else was like, it made sense. Like, you know, you would go there, you would do that, you would try that. This is how you try and escape. This is how you try and open that door. Everything made sense. And then there's one bit that just came out. I was like, okay, fine, I'll kind of let it. And I think the final shot of the film, it's kind of like it makes sense. It's beautiful. It's kind of sad as well, but it's quite good. I would give it a 4 out of 5. So 4 out of 5 for Dead of Winter. Ooh. And I'll say, if you can, go find it. if you can, go find it.
Excellent.
Now, let's go back to streaming. I believe this is Prime Video, and we're talking The Girlfriend.
So, The Girlfriend is I'm going to call it an 8, but it could be a 9 or 10 part. So I think it's 10 episode series about the mother and girlfriend of a young doctor. The mother is played by Robin Wright, and the girlfriend is played by Olivia Cook.
Yes.
And there are natural tensions between mother and girlfriend, and you see the series play out from both of their perspectives. So you watch the coming together, the unraveling of their relationship, the improvements of their relationship, some bizarre twists and turns that you simply couldn't have seen happening, but that all stem from the fact that Robin Wright, this very wealthy art gallery owner, does not approve of the young woman,
the girlfriend,
who is from a very working class family. She works in a sort of high end estate agents. She wears, very short skirts and very low cut tops, and clearly comes from a not well to do family, whilst initially claiming that she went to whatever fancy school and so on. So they come from very different worlds, and there is a natural clashing of those worlds. And it is I would say poignant. It's not poignant. Poignant is completely the wrong word. It is, some of it is a bit funny, but it's not a comedy.
Yeah.
It is. It's got twists and turns, and it's a well-constructed, very enjoyable watch that has you guessing all the way through as to who is what, and whether what you see of a person is who they truly are, be it a mother or a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, all of the interactions.
Okay, so with this is when I saw this, I got a touch of the Emerald Fennels about this, where it starts off looking like it's like a social class thing, but I feel like in the end it's just going to be a piece of pulp. It's a piece of enjoyable pulp that you're just going to watch and go like, oh, that's a rollicking ride. Is it that, or is there anything deeper to it?
Deeper.
Oh,
definitely
okay.
Deeper. It's not just. Some of it is just unhinged. And I won't go into the details of the bits that are unhinged, as they would be massive spoilers, but they are completely unhinged. It does have that sort of, ludicrous touch to it, and some of it is just idiotic, but it is also complicated and nuanced. And I got to the end, and there were various points throughout it that gave me shivers.
Ooh.
And you sort of, you found yourself from each perspective, seeing it, sort of questioning your own perceptions. And you'd seen it from one side, you'd seen it from the other side. You saw that this person had done one thing, you saw that they've made it appear that they've done this thing, or that the other person has done this. And it's a huge case of two women in different and complicated and bizarre ways trying to sabotage each other at times.
Yeah.
But watch it. It is a good binge view.
Okay. How many stars?
4.
4. All right. You see now, Holly, you've actually made me feel more towards this, because I just thought when you said things like, okay, when people say things like, it's about two women trying to sabotage each other, I feel like I've seen that before, and I feel like I've seen that before, and I don't want to see it again. But if you say that there's more to it, I will take you on your word, and I will actually try and fire this thing out.
There is undoubtedly more to it, and it's the way it's done and the way it plays out. It's different.
All right, cool.
It is not. You have not seen it before.
All right, good. And I will say one thing I would say about the person who plays the boyfriend/son, Laurie Davidson. I'm glad to see he's getting work, because the first thing I was ever on set for, or was it the second thing I was ever on set for as an extra, he was the main star in it, and it was supposed to be like his big break, and that show didn't really go anywhere. It was a show called Will, about Shakespeare. He played the young William Shakespeare, and it didn't really go anywhere, and I thought, oh, maybe he's going to go now, but he's still showing up and stuff, so yeah, well done, Laurie Davidson. All right, and now let's go back to cinema. We are going to go back to cinema. We're going to talk Urchin, and this is one of those rare times when we are ahead of the curve, and we're going to talk about a film before most of the country can actually see it in cinemas. So, Urchin. Who wants to take it? Sharon, shall you take it? Tell us what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
It's a bit of an odd one.
It's an odd one.
But basically, the urchin in question is a young man played by Frank Delane, who some people would know from Fear the Walking Dead, the first couple of series of that. He plays his character called Mike, who you first meet him. He is homeless. He's sleeping rough. But he's quite personable. He's sort of quite chatty. He's well spoken. He's quite friendly. And then you see him commit a violent robbery completely out of nowhere. He's like, because there's one scene where there's someone befriends him and said, "Oh, I'll get you something to eat. Oh, come on, we'll take you to the restaurant. I'll go buy you something." And they're walking down the road, and the other guy starts walking ahead of him. And I was like, "Don't walk ahead of him. You don't know who this guy is. Don't walk ahead of him." And then boom, there's this really violent robbery, and then you find out. You've had glimpses of it right up until now, that he is addicted to drugs. He's not sleeping. He's estranged from his family. His life is chaotic. He has friends, but they're the sort of friends that you will steal from, because that's that sort of friendships where they support each other because they're all homeless together and they're in that situation together, but they'd also all predate upon each other because, if one of your mates has got money and you need money because you need your drugs, you're going to steal their money. So it's that. And then you see, obviously, the consequences of this action. And then you go through this phase of the film where you see him trying to sort of find his feet. He's getting a job. He's sort of forming relationships. He's forming friendships. He's sort of like getting his act together. And then you see another phase of his life, or you say or lessons that you think he had learnt, he unlearns, and you sort of get this sort of spiral, or you get this sort of like repeated bad behavior. Yeah. And so, it's not, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, there's almost like a circular action about this film. How it ends up is not dissimilar to how it begins, that he goes through this journey, but he's almost like self-destructive in the way he sort of interacts with people. and how he treats himself, that you think he's one of those people you want to root for. You're thinking, you can do it. You can get yourself on your feet. You can get yourself a house. You get somewhere to live. And then a couple of bad choices, and it like all just it falls apart a little bit. But it is riven with a lot of imagery, a lot of symbolism. You think that Urchin is not just that he's an urchin, like he's like someone who lives on the street, but like they're physical and a sea urchin. You have images of that as well, and about life, the nature of existence, where does life begin, where does life go? There's a lot of question of faith. There's a lot of irreligious imagery in it throughout, and there's a few recurring images. You're not sure whether they're like sort of like Earth Mother or like the Virgin Mary or sort of like that mother figure. You see those sort of images occurring through it. There's a couple of scenes where you think you're going to his safe place, where he escapes in his mind, but you're not quite sure whether that's another, I guess, symbolism of something else. So it's lots of symbolism in it and imagery.
Yeah. I think the one thing Sharon's talked about, particularly the sort of forest one with the like the cave almost. I think you're right. To me, that's his mind, and it's there. The light's there. He can go to it, but he decides not to.
He just can't quite get out of that cave. Yeah.
I mean, my take on it was I thought this was really well acted. To be fair, I had to think about this one, Sharon. I think we said when we come out, I had to think about this one. But I think it was really well acted, and I like the way he turned. And I know people through my life, I think I've had this before loads of times, that are either alcoholics or drug addicts that can just be like so pleasant, so absolutely pleasant as you like, and then just something like that. And the scene with the hippie, you know what I mean? When he's going on, and he's just really, really quite foul and horrible. These people that are nice to him, it's almost like a destructive relationship, almost like people want to be nice to him, but he just sort of, something could be said or something, and he's just really, really vitriolic and not particularly nice to them. So
it's almost like you say, if he's fine as long as you're fine with him, but if you say no or you sort of put up a boundary, he's suddenly like just
it's all on his terms. It's all on his terms.
And it's like his relationship with other people he works with, you know. One thing will be like enough for him to be like, no, that's it.
I mean, I did feel sorry for him in some circumstances, like the restaurant. I did feel a little bit sorry for him then, because he was put in a position because things were starting to go, weren't they? And then that one incident, it's like, oh, that's it. Let's go on that downward spiral once again. But there was the first bit of it. I think was a bit like, I don't know. There was that bit. I thought, what are we going 2001 here? You know, like when the first animated scene, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Yeah, this was a real interest, this film.
You sort of disappear into his psyche. They're interesting. It's not as... It's a British film, I think you probably gather. And it's a very much his film. It's very much Frank Delane's film. He is.
I didn't know, did he direct it as well?
It all rises and falls on him, really.
No,
did he direct it as well?
It was directed by Harris Dickinson. Who is also an actor. He's an up and coming actor. He's been in some stuff. He was in The King's Man. He is going to be playing Paul McCartney. No, he's going to be playing John Lennon in the 4 Beatles movies that Sam Mendes is making. He was in The Iron Claw. He was in that film with the young girl Scrapper.
Scrapper. We saw that as a special. I reckon these specials. Yeah, we saw Scrapper.
Yeah, he was the dad in Scrapper.
I think it seems to be a lot of these secret screenings seem to be British films, don't they? Because the one we saw, which was
the last one was.
Although it's funny, as you were talking, it made me
by the BBC. Sorry, Toes.
No, as you were talking, it just made me realize something. You know that at the moment there's this whole thing like about in America when a young director gets the first chance to actually make a film and everything like that, it's usually a horror film in America. And it seems like in Britain, when they get a chance to do it, it's usually a kitchen sink drama.
Very gritty, very
very gritty, very sort of like low level. Usually has to do with some sort of social issues and everything like that.
It's sort of drawn back that curtain on a world that most sort of comfortable middle class people would never see.
Yeah.
And we probably would never, the majority of people who would watch this film and be like emotionally or intellectually moved by it or interested in it, would be not the people who would ever encounter these people in real life. Sean might, because he works in education. Yeah. And I do encounter people like this through the hospital, because obviously people have, people who live chaotic lifestyles often need hospital services.
Mm.
And trying to get hold of them is not easy, and trying to sort of sort of do the best for them is like, not easy when they won't turn up for appointments, they don't answer the phone, they don't answer letters, they DNA, then they call back and they say, why aren't you helping me? It's like,
Yeah.
how many times do you want us to try?
Yeah.
So it's a chaotic lifestyle, but it does rise and fall on him, and I think he is charismatic enough. He's likable enough in the likable moments, and then you see that turn, and that's believable. You believe him, and I thought it was convincing and well done. And I think I was dithering about whether it was a 3 or a 4, just about by being engaged with it. It's not one that, to me, I was more intellectually engaged with it rather than emotionally connected. But I just think it is good enough that it probably is a 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was going to say,
it wasn't an easy 3. It isn't an easy 4, an easy watch. But I think it's one of those ones. The more you think about it, the better you think it is.
Yeah. I would have to agree with that. Originally, when I first come out, I would have given this a 3. But on reflection and thinking about it and thinking about the issues and all that, it's probably going to get a 4. So, I would agree with Sharon. I came out thinking it's a 3, but on reflection, it's one of those films on reflection, a bit like Mother. That
yeah,
you think about, and it deserves it. I think it merits a 4, Sharon, don't you?
Well, I think
so, yeah.
I think the fact that a film stays in your head and you have to keep thinking about it after you leave the cinema tells you something. I think that almost in itself is worth an extra star. So okay, so cool. So 4 stars for Urchin. This is a good week.
Yeah,
This is a good week. I might be ruining it soon, but all right, cool. And now we go back to Netflix, and we are going to talk Wayward. I think it's Wayward, not The Wayward, but I'll check that, Holly, while you tell us about this.
Yeah, so it is an 8-part limited series starring Toni Collette.
Mm-hmm.
It begins in 2 locations. It starts off in Canada with 2 teenage friends who are probably about 16, who are bunking off school, who are smoking weed, who are making poor decisions and getting caught and getting in trouble for it. I think it is probably set in the late 90s, early 2000s, as they have portable CD players. And I think I saw an iPod in there somewhere. And it is made apparent to that one of the girls, Leela, has a very troubled home life, and her sister died relatively recently, and she's clearly spiraled, and her friend seems to be dragging along. At this point, the school mention a place called Two Pines, where there is a school that is fundamentally a bit of a reform school run by Toni Collette. At the same time, you have arriving into the town of Two Pines. I think it's Two Pines, not Three Pines. You have a woman who and her husband, who is transgender, arriving, and she is heavily pregnant, and she herself is a graduate of the Two Pines.
It's Tall Pines, by the way.
Tall Pines, thank you.
Yeah.
Of the school, and she had seen this as an opportunity to sort of come home. Her husband is a young police officer and is joining the local police, and clearly had issues in a previous workplace potentially with violence.
Yeah.
Something. So this is a new beginning for them, and it becomes apparent that there's something a little bit odd, as very soon after their arrival, a young man staying in Tall Pines that makes a break for it.
Yeah.
And is clearly very distressed, very, traumatized, and complexities ensue. At the same time, without going into details, both of the girls from Canada find themselves in Tall Pines as well.
Yeah.
And are desperate to try to get out because there's something strange about it all.
So I've heard some places this has been compared a little bit with Twin Peaks. Would you say it's fair, or is it more straightforward than that?
Yes and no. It's not really. It probably does have a touch of Twin Peaks to it.
Okay. Because I'm looking at the poster now, I'm looking at Toni Collette's face, and I'm thinking, oh, she's a wrong one.
I mean, yeah, it's yeah. There's probably a touch of Twin Peaks without the without all of the same elements that. It's not got all the same elements, and it's not as unhinged,
as weird or out there. Yeah,
it's not as just bizarre in places.
Okay,
but it is a complicated story, and that there is clearly something odd about this town of very, very nice people who are all embracing and all accepting, and all appear to be graduates of the Tall Pines Academy. So what is going on? How can these young girls get away? What makes this place so weird?
Yeah, I mean, if Hollywood has taught us anything, it is never trust nice. Never trust nice. If someone's nice, just leg it. So, what did you think about this?
And Toni Collette's character is, by the way, very nice. Much of the time.
I'm looking at this poster. I don't trust that face. So,
no.
I
really liked it. I thought it was great. I love the cast. Some of whom I knew, some of whom I did not know.
Yep.
I thought it was fabulous. It was a really good watch. I was actually kind of sorry it came to an end in some ways.
All right.
But I'm also glad that it came to an end and that it is a limited series, because I hate it when they drag things on and redo it when
it's only a limited series. It's only a limited series if it doesn't do well.
Exactly. But I thought it was great. It's a solid 4-star.
4 stars. Okay, 4 stars.
Interest. You were saying about Twin Peaks. I've been to where Twin Peaks was filmed. It's a place called Snoqualmie Falls. It's about 50 minutes due east of Seattle in Washington State.
Oh,
they filmed. Yeah, I got a few pictures of it. Those waterfalls, boom, boom, boom. I might have to check that one out, Ollie.
I reckon how many.
Give it a watch. It's weird. I really like your thoughts, but I really like.
What platform is it on?
That's Netflix.
Oh, Netflix, right?
Yeah, Wayward is on Netflix.
Netflix.
All right, and cool. Now we have had quite. I think if this was like a tennis match, this would just have been like, oh my god, we don't know which way it's going. It's just all everybody just bring it. Everybody's playing well at the same time. And now we come to the round that I think might ruin things, which we go back to cinemas and we talk about Downton Abbey, the final finale, or whatever it's called.
Okay.
Because I feel like this thing has had like 4 finales already.
We can probably do this one pretty quick. So, Happy John wanted to go and see this movie because he'd seen it with his mum. He wanted to go and see it. And also, I thought it would be a nice treat for the Mandarin assistant, because being typically British, she could. It's
kind of like the sort of like it's the sort of British that people fetishize, like outside of Britain. They're like, oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
That's the image that people have of Britain. Anyway, so this is basically this is the passing of the torch over to Lady Mary. And it's basically Lady Mary. I mean, I'm not really aware of this because I haven't seen the series. But I was going to say, because
you're coming to this cold. You're coming to this cold.
Yeah. So this is anyway. It's like a pass of torch, and they've got the typical British things. They've got a village fair, and there's a girl who's a cook. You probably perhaps Sharon. I don't know if girls might know. So anyway, she gets on the committee with another lady and there's an old Moser on there, that's like, oh, I don't think we can have this, and it gets a bit. So they decide to make the fate a little bit better, and it's just typically it is just like British upstairs, downstairs, the toffs and the servants sort of thing. But what can we say about this? It did have some funny moments. I did find it. I mean, I did find it better than I thought I was going to find it. I didn't dislike it. So what was I going to say? Yeah. Oh, Mary's been divorced, so she's sort of an outcast of society. So, but Noel Coward, one of the people that may have been in the previous series, I don't know. He sort of turns up.
No, I think Noel Coward is new. He's new to this world.
Oh right, yeah, no, I know Noel Coward is, but there's a character that is a sort of actor type, played by the guy who does the Nationwide adverts, a famous actor.
Oh, Simon West.
Yeah, and that's him. Yeah, so but he's anyway. So but he knows he's an actor now, and he's having an affair with one of the butlers, or he's the partner of one of the butlers. So
sorry, Dominic West.
Yeah, it's. So he's a partner with one of the butlers that worked at Downton Abbey, and he knows. And then so nobody wants to come to Lady Mary's party, but they decide that Noel Coward and they're going to turn up. So everybody wants to go to all of a sudden, everybody says, we will come if we still, sorry, I thought I was doing other things, but now I'm not. So there's a big ball and a big party.
Wash my hair after all.
Yeah, I didn't have to wash my hair after all. So, there's a con man, and there's American, the uncle comes over. The American uncle comes over.
Played by Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti, yeah, and he's got like a con man who has a bit of a fling with. He gets Lady Mary drunk and scandal, and Lady Mary's maid sees him coming out of the bedroom, and he's like, "Ooh, what's going on here?" Anyway, so, it was to me, as I say, I don't really know nothing about the series, and I've watched a little bit of my mum once at a thing, and I found it quite funny actually. To be fair, I found it quite amusing, much more amusing than what I thought it was, and I like the Noel Coward thing, and they played. Of course, it's funny, isn't it? In that society, the people know their place, if you will. I know place, and they don't do anything. So, yeah, and. I asked the Chinese assistant when we came out, and I said, what did you think? She said, I said, did you understand it first of all? She goes, yeah, I followed it and all that, and I'm aware of it back home and all that, but now I'm going to go and watch all the series and look a lot more about it, because she really liked it, bless her. And I called John. We were walking back to the car, and I didn't really mean to, but I pushed Happy John a little bit, and he went in. I called him Lady Mary, and she went into hysterics. I said, "Oh, Lady Mary," to John.
Yeah.
He went in a bush. That was the trouble. We went in a bush, and so but I didn't mean. But anyway.
Oh no! It's happened again.
Oh no, Lady Mary.
Lady Mary, Sean, it's happened again. Second week in a row, Sean has frozen halfway through a review. I think I personally think his laptop cannot handle going over an hour.
It's always about this time.
It's always about this time that all of a sudden Sean's like, okay, but anyway, let us go. We will wait on Tenterhooks to figure out what it is that Sean was going to give that score-wise. but we will, let's carry on. Let's carry on to the final thing, and this is me. Oh no, I thought he was back. Okay, so this is me on Netflix. It's something called Running Point. So Running Point, this is a show that is created by Mindy. I always say Kaling, but I've heard other people say Kaling, like Mindy Kaling. It means what you see that? Because but she's Tamil, and Kaling doesn't sound like a Tamil pronunciation. So it's like, it's kind of like anyway. Never mind. And the whole idea behind this is that you meet Kate Hudson, and Kate Hudson is part of this family called the Gordon family, and they are rich and they are moneyed, and they own the jewel of the crown is that they own a basketball team. So it's a basketball team in the American NBA called the Los Angeles Waves, which I have to say is a terrible name for a basketball team. I cannot imagine an actual basketball team. I just think it's just a nothing name. It doesn't. Part of my problem with this show is that I did not believe that this could actually exist as a basketball team, because just everything about it looked a little bit. And this is the problem when you're trying to do stuff that's set in the sports world. If it looks a little bit low rent, it immediately takes you out of it. It's kind of like, I remember there was a show called 15 Love that was set in the world of professional tennis, and they tried to set some scenes at the French Open, and their version of the French Open, for somebody like me who's a tennis fan, was disgraceful. It was disgraceful. I'm like, look, you don't have the cash to do something at the French Open. You do not have the money. You don't have the extras. You don't have you have like you're filming 15 people watching somebody who can't actually play tennis. Like, I can play better tennis than this person, and you're trying to tell me that person is like a French Open champion. It doesn't work. And there's a little bit of element of that with the basketball stuff, where I think like you could almost sort of feel like they didn't really have the budget to go through. So the team I didn't quite believe. But the whole idea is that she's part of this, I think, like the Murdoch family. They have a lot of money. They've owned this team for years. And her brother is in charge of the team. She has two other brothers who work in the team. And she has been put into, like, you know, charity things because she was a wild child, and they wanted to bring her out of that and keep an eye on her, so to say. At the beginning, it shows up that her oldest brother, who runs the team, he's involved in a car crash. Turns out that he's a cocaine addict and a crack addict, and because of that, for the team, he has to step away for a while and go into rehab. But he appoints her to be the interim boss of the team, and it all goes about following Kate Hudson, because everybody thinks of her like as a party girl, everything like that. Like one of the players actually says, "I've seen your," he's like, "I've seen your tits on the internet. I can't respect you." And but this is his boss, and it's about her trying to figure out how to be a boss for this basketball team, how to turn around its fortunes, all that kind of stuff. And because it's Mindy Kaling, there is obviously I'm beginning to think that there are tropes that show up in all of Mindy Kaling's stuff, because especially in the final season or in the final episode of a season. Let me put it this way, in the final episode of a season, there's always a kiss that sets up a love triangle that makes you think, and it's happened in a couple of shows of her watch. It happened in Never Have I Ever, happened in Mindy Project, it happens in this one. And I think the cast is great in this. There are some funny moments. Kate Hudson is brilliant, and I think it's one of the things where you're watching this and you're thinking, why wasn't Kate Hudson ever a bigger star? I mean, because she is good. She carries the show well, everything like that. She has like the charm. She has all that kind of stuff, and you think, okay, this is good. But it's So the show it's pretty much that, and it becomes like a workplace comedy. She has Brenda Song, who's like a right-hand woman, and it's about women going into a male thing to try and figure out how can you actually. There's a little bit of Ted Lasso where there's things that happen in this that you go, I don't think that would happen in real life. That's just a bit too idealistic. But it's almost as if like that's the point. It's trying to ask, imagine if it could happen like this. Imagine if a woman could work in this world. Imagine if people were actually nice about this thing. Imagine if that didn't work the way it was supposed to. And it's quite good. It's all right. But I honestly don't think it's anything more than a 3. It's kind of, let me put it this way, I watched most of this season while I was doing other stuff. It was on in the background. It was great to have on in the background. There were a couple of funny things. I do think, for me, I think Brenda Song and Kate Hudson, they are the standouts. Whenever they are on the screen together and they're doing something, they are the standouts. And Justin Theroux shows up as their older brother. And I think that's about it. It's a 3. It's a 3. It's down the middle. It's nothing much to write home about. It's not going to change the world. It's aiming for Ted Lasso, I think. It doesn't get anywhere close. There's nothing as poignant or serious or earth-shattering in it. I just think it's okay. It's fine. It's good. It could be terrible. It happens not to be terrible. It's watchable. But in the end of the day, it's a 3 for me. And it's up to you whether you think that's a recommendation or not.
Most things ought to be 3s, really.
Well, yeah.
You can't. Not everything. If everything were amazing, you wouldn't appreciate the really amazing. So we need a little bit of mediocrity in order to highlight the really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of me where I'm not really sure who the show is for. I don't think it's for sports fans. I don't think it's for sport fans. I don't know. Is it supposed to be more of like a girl power thing? I don't really know what the show's for, but it's watchable, and I'll give it that. So I'll give it that. And I'm not sure if Sean is coming back.
No, so we'll never know what he thought of Lady Mary.
We'll never know what he thought about Lady Mary and why he called Happy John Lady Mary.
Happy John Lady Mary.
But I think I think it sounded to me like he was heading for a 3. That's
my feeling.
It sounded to me like he was heading for a 3. Do not know, but I'm going to say it's a 3. And if it is a 3, who do you think has won this week? Netflix or cinema?
It'll be a tie.
It'll be a tie.
It is straight up a tie. It's straight up a tie. Every single round around this whole thing. We just had the Ryder Cup. This was like a Ryder Cup thing, and every match was halved. Every match was halved.
But it's just been predominantly a good week with two things that are. It has
been a good weekend. If we go back to the the premise of this show that we have that we base this show on, that whether you should stay at home or whether you should go out and watch things in the cinema, we say this week you're fine either way. There's good stuff at the cinema. Go watch it. There's good stuff at home. Go stay and watch it. But anyway, get in touch with us. Get in touch with us. We're on Twitter, Netflix via Cinema. We are on YouTube, Netflix via Cinema. We're on Instagram, Netflix via Cinema Pod. And tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you thought about it. What you thought about all these different things. Were we off the mark? Did you love it? Do you think One Battle After Another is best film of the year? And it'll be great to see you. But until that time, until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
A goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Thank you very much for joining us.